Here we go. It is a Friday. So many angles, so many stories. Live in Los Angeles, it's The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, FS1. Joy Taylor joining me on a Friday. Those Warriors are starting to look very interesting. Kyler Murray's mad at me, the quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. I'll discuss both of those. Joy, how are you?
I'm good. You know, this first round of the NBA playoffs is the best that I can remember in a very long time.
Oh, it's been fun. Really fun. And then we have something this weekend I can't wait to watch, which is Ben Simmons is returning, and I don't know what I get. He's total wild card.
I have no idea.
But I will say this. Is there a 5% chance he's the life preserver for a sinking net ship?
It's possible. That's why they're trying to get him back out there.
So I want to start with this. So I was reading a story the other day. It was very fascinating. It was about the music industry, and it was talking about, can you predict one-hit wonders in music? And it was a very complex article. I don't have, great understanding or knowledge, obviously, of the music industry. But it was fascinating that there were arguments to be made. Stanford professors, people had gone out, and you can kind of tell why people are one-hit wonders and what success is repeatable. And that's an interesting word, right? Repeatable. I worked in radio for a long time. I used to always, with radio people, if they said they liked a show, I would say, why? Because if you can't give me the why, then you can't find the next person that's that talented. Or you can't build the next radio show that's that talented. Anybody can say I like a show, but if you're in the radio industry, you got to know the why part. So you can create multiple shows that are successful if you want to build a radio station, right? The why is important. Why are the Warriors so good? Very selfless, very smart. There's never been a dynasty that I can think of in college, pro football, or pro basketball without a great coach. I don't care if it's Jimmy Johnson, Bill Walsh, Chuck Noll, Mike Krzyzewski, John Wooden, Greg Popovich, Belichick. All the dynasties have a great coach. Kevin Durant, KD, don't think they need one. You do. But I want to talk about the Warriors. Why are they beating Denver? Why do they look so good? Suddenly now, everything's lined up perfectly in the playoffs. Steph is conveniently healthy. Draymond is perfectly rested. Jordan Poole's playing his best basketball of the year in the playoffs, and Klay Thompson suddenly looks like Klay Thompson. They're actually averaging more. Klay, Poole, and Draymond are averaging more in the playoffs than they did at any point in the regular season. Why? This is why they had a dynasty. They rested Draymond. They trusted him and rested him. They rested Steph. Steph said, I'll come off the bench. Everybody in San Francisco has been watching this since the All-Star break. They've been watching Jordan Poole become a star. But you watch your own NBA team. You don't watch the Warriors, right? They're on TV occasionally. Everybody in San Francisco knows Jordan Poole has been doing this now for 3 months. Like, he's a star. They have a third Splash Brother. And what's great about it is they're all different. So Klay is your kind of stoic catch and shoot. Put him anywhere on the floor. Just give me the ball. I don't even need a dribble. Catch, shoot. Steph is liquid, constant motion, running around. The engineer evolved. And then Jordan Poole's a bit of an attacker. He can be more aggressive, leans in, not lean out. So they're all three different players, and yet we have this three-headed monster, and it's not a coincidence because the way they're run, they're all playing perfectly now. They rested Dre. They knew Draymond was going to have to face some bigs, maybe a DeAndre Ayton, or a Jokic, or maybe an Anthony Davis in the playoffs if they got it. They knew that going out. So they wanted a rested Draymond Green. They wanted a rested Steph Curry. And this whole season, they've been building chemistry. This is not a one-hit wonder. You can figure out why bands, they do studies on this. Why are some one hit and why are some The Who or the Stones or Jay-Z or Beyond? Why? There's coaching behind it. There's intelligence behind it. And if you look at Jordan Poole in the regular season in the playoffs, he's a different player. 18 to 28. This is surprising everybody. It's not surprising the Warriors. Draymond Green's been talking about this on my podcast network for 6 months. He's like, you're not going to believe how good this guy is. You should see him at practice. And so this is the fourth time the Warriors have done this. They did it with Draymond, second-round pick. They did it with Steph. They did it with Klay. And now they've done it with Jordan Poole. They steal a guy in the draft. You don't know who he really is for the first year and a half. And then all of a sudden, the second year, you're like, whoa, third year, whoa, fourth-year star. This is the fourth time they've done it. There's no luck involved here. This is what the Warriors do. Draft, patient, develop. What the Lakers can't do. Lakers haven't developed any player since Kobe. This is their secret sauce in this organization. It's the fourth time. And by the way, they got another kid named Jonathan Kuminga, and you don't know who he is either unless you're a diehard NBA fan. He didn't play last night. Watch him become the fifth time they've done it. He didn't do anything this year except he was 6'7", 220, can defend, super twitchy, athletic, little spots here and there. They don't trust him yet. But he'll be the fifth guy they do this with. It's not luck. Draymond Green on the emerging star that they've known about for months, Jordan Poole.
Talking to a guy who was on the third team All-G League last year.
True.
Has been our number one option in this playoffs. And the way he's playing, he's gained the trust of everybody on the team. He's gained the trust of Coach Kerr. And he's gained fear from everybody else.
All right. So congratulations, Denver. Denver, sometimes it's timing. Denver just doesn't have any healthy players. It's nothing against Jokic. He was great last night. But Jamal Murray's not healthy, and Michael Porter's not healthy. And sometimes the Warrior guys all got rested and healthy. The Nuggets outside of Jokic are all beat up and not healthy. Some of it's timing. I don't think Denver's bad. I don't know exactly what you do with Jokic long term. You're not going to get rid of him. Is he a 1 or is he a 1A like Anthony Davis? I can make that argument. But a lot of this is timing, and Denver's not poorly coached or a bad team. It's all beat. They don't have anybody after Jokic. So I want to go to this. This happened yesterday. And, from time to time, professional athletes will either fire back at me or respond to me. Baker Mayfield fired back at me. Ja Morant responded to me. Draymond Green years ago responds to me. And, like social media, it's, I don't mind it. I don't need to be loved by athletes. And some people ghost me, Aaron Rodgers. But that's okay, too. But yesterday, Kyler Murray, super special quarterback for Arizona, when he responded to me, he didn't attack me, he responded. He said, hey, man, run whatever narratives y'all want to run with, but questioning my work ethic, we're not going to go for that. Stop playing with me, Colin. I still rock with you, but come on. So, first of all, thank you. I did not question his work ethic. I had a 5-minute rant yesterday. I think he's misinterpreting it a little bit. I don't question his work ethic. That's not. So let me create clarity for this. I thought about this all afternoon. How could I create clarity in this Arizona situation for Kyler Murray and his agent and the people that watch? When a star leans into a culture, that's perfect. And coaches create cultures, GMs and cultures, because they're picking all the players, they're the voices. They create the culture. And the two greatest players in my lifetime that leaned into the culture are Tim Duncan and Tom Brady. Why? They not only leaned into being coached hard, they would allow themselves to be ripped and embarrassed by the coaches in front of teammates. They leaned into the front office and ownership. They both took pay cuts. Duncan took less than he wanted to. Brady took less. In the history of GOAT conversations, of leaning into a culture, Brady completely leaned into Kraft, the front office, the salary cap, Belichick coaching. He was rewarded with a dynasty. Tim Duncan did the exact same thing. Steven Jackson told us yesterday, two totally different personalities. Duncan would elevate young people, introduce himself to G League level guys. I'm going to elevate you. I'll take less. Popovich can scream at me. They're the two greatest ever. Duncan and Brady. And they were both rewarded with dynasties. Now let's go to two guys who are doing it right now, and they're great at it. Steph Curry and Mahomes. They're not being paid top of the market. Very team-friendly deals. Elevate everybody around them. Can be coached very hard. Curry's literally saying, hey, I'll come off the bench. They are all about winning. All about not taking max money. They'll redo their contracts if they have to, if it's allowed by the CBA. They're the current Brady Duncan. How have they been rewarded? They've been rewarded with titles. And then there's Aaron Rodgers, Kyler Murray. It's harder, as I said yesterday, to build cultures around them. Why? Well, they want to be paid early or the most. All right, that makes it harder for everybody. So Kyler wants to be paid early, and Aaron wants to be paid the most. They both air some of their grievances publicly. Duncan and Brady didn't do that. That's not what you want to do. That creates drama. Everybody's walking on eggshells. That's not good for the culture. Also, both of them, doesn't make them a bad person. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a bad person or Kyler's a bad person. They're kind of individual guys. They're kind of aloof, can be a little prickly. They're different. I've got multiple Packer players for 10 years, stories about Aaron Rodgers. Most I've never told. Maybe I'll write about them in a book. But, they're a little hurtful, a little harsh, but they've given me really the backstory on Aaron. And I mean, they've come from agents and players and teammates and coach. And I've had several of these in the last couple years with Kyler Murray. Like, Aaron and Kyler are great, but they're not lean-in guys all the way. They're not Mahomes and Curry. They're not Brady Duncan. And it is harder to win. You're not going to get dynasties with either of them. You're not going to get a dynasty with Kyler or Aaron, although they're good enough to. You got to lean in. It doesn't make them bad guys, but they are unique and at times make it more difficult. So the question